One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm standing at the crossroads. I'm feeling like a lost soul. Don't know where I wanna go, but all I know is I wanna be free. They're telling me to let it be, but that just ain't in me, no. Jealousy and envy, but all I see is I wanna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Don't let it get the most of me. Eventually, I'm gonna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna be free. Let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I told them take their aim off me. Stop trying to get a name off me. If they would just let me be, I'm gonna be free. I told them take some chains off me and throw away the locks and keys. If they would just let me be, eventually I'm gonna be free.
They're back.
What up? What up? What up? What up, Aaron?
What's going on, my man?
Not much. Say 7 days. Man, it's 7 days and went by quick. It seemed like it was man, it seemed like we just did a show like 2-3 days ago. That's what it seemed like.
Right.
But like I said, 7 days and went by. We back again. I'm March Bishop. Got Aaron Olinger. It's the dominant fact. Mike Ball normally with us. He's gonna be with us a little later. Has some family stuff that he was in the middle of doing, but he's gonna kick in before the show is out. But I guess before we get started, I'm gonna ask you, just like we do every week, how was your week? What'd you get into?
Well, this past weekend, I called myself going to go early vote. I didn't want to deal with the long lines of people. So I went Saturday morning to go early vote. That's the longest line I've ever been in my life. I couldn't believe the line was that long. There was 3 times I almost got out of the line and went home because it was just that long. But I stuck it out. Glad I got it in, so I didn't have to be out there on election day. So I'm glad that's done and over with.
How long did you have to sit out?
Oh man, it was 2 hours I was in line.
Oh wow. Wow.
I got there about 10 o'clock. I didn't get out of there till just about 12.
Damn. That's
And
crazy.
when you get to be my age, your knees don't want to stand there for that length of time. They start hurting after a while. So that's the reason why I almost left the line about 3 different times.
Oh wow. Well, at least you hung in. I mean, you stuck it through.
Mhm.
Uh yeah, I ended up going Saturday. I went Saturday evening after work. And surprisingly, it wasn't packed. I was able to get in and get out like 20 minutes. Um
Okay.
didn't really take long at all. Hell, I was thinking I was gonna be sitting there for a minute, but yeah, I ended up making it through fairly quick. Um let's see what all went on last week. It's a couple things. Um well, most of the week, let's see, Monday I was filming for that new movie, Standing on Business. Did like did 6 scenes that day. Um which was
Wow.
a lot because it was going back to back to back to back. That was a lot.
Mhm.
Um got some more to do uh this weekend. Of course, they film every day, but my sections I got this weekend. Um, but you remember last week when I was telling you guys about this show that I went there to talk to these producers, and I ended up doing this show. You remember me telling you about
Mhm.
that? Okay, so it's like I said, I got a message from them the other day. So the actual show is called Ship or Sink. It's supposed to be out here in the next month or two. Um,
Okay.
they're they're going to do a like a pilot show, and then from there it goes over to Netflix. Um, but like I said, I stood in, and it's like a game show. It's like a kind of like a dating game show where they go and like you have like a line of people and they ask them questions, and if you like them,
Okay.
you hit the buzz. I mean, if you don't like them, you hit the buzzer or whatever, back off. You know what I mean? Whatever. Um, but I got a call the other day where um, I guess they're gonna do like a section with like younger people, then they're gonna do some with more middle aged people, and they asked me about being a host for that show
Oh,
when they're doing the older group.
yeah.
So
Good for you, man.
yeah, that's a come up right there, man. I was and like I said, I wasn't really expecting that one. You know what I mean? But they like I said, when I went there, I guess that producer that I went and talked to, evidently he liked me, so they offered me a spot. So I haven't got word as to when that actually starts, but it's supposed to start here pretty soon. So I'll keep everybody posted. But
Yeah.
like I said, everything's still pushing. They doing the red carpet premiere. Remember, for Rod and Dirty? It was supposed to have been a couple weeks ago, but the hurricane uh, messed up everything. But so they're doing it on the uh, Saturday the 23rd. They're going to be doing that, and they end up switching that up a little bit because once they finished everything dealing with this movie, it ended up being over 3 hours long.
Wow.
So they turned it into um, more of a it's going to be like a 3-part series. So so they're going to put the first part out and then put out the second part and then the third part, and then they're going to film the fourth part. Um, I think like January, February, somewhere around in there. Um, so I was kind of surprised by that. I didn't realize that it was going to be that long, but they had so much footage and so much stuff packed into that movie. It ended up to where they was like, well, we're either gonna have to cut it or we can make it a 3-part series and show everything. So that's what they end
Okay.
up. So hopefully that'll be pretty good. I mean, I haven't watched it, but from what I hear from the directors, you know, some of their family that's actually watched it and went through everything, they said it's really good. So um, after they do the premiere, it goes to Prime, and then so it'll be released on Prime shortly after they do the premiere. So everybody be able to see it.
That sounds great. I look forward to it.
So we're gonna jump into this into this topic today. Now, you know, as everybody in the world knows, yesterday was election day, and we now have a new president coming. Mr. Trump won again, so he's gonna be the 45 and 47. You know what I mean? You would think he got enough at 45, but he wanted to come on back for 47. So, you know, he won. And the numbers were pretty astounding. When you look at the map and see, you know, how many people came out, you know what I mean, to make this happen. Kind of record breaking in some because some of these states that the Democrats thought that they didn't have, and you know they were thinking that they were going to be um, they were going to be on top, and that didn't necessarily happen. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I didn't. I'm more independent. You know, I pick who I think they can do the job.
That's what I do.
I'm not really on the Republican Democrat bullshit. But I did, you know, today I was online on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. And I was just scrolling through because I wanted to see how people were responding. And in some posts I seen, they were happy about the election results and how it turned out. A lot of them I seen, they were not. You know, and I think we're gonna get into some of the reasons why, or some of the reasons that I've seen on there that their issues were, and maybe we can bring them to light and maybe shed a little information about it or whatever. So if they are watching, then they get the information that they need. So so I'm gonna ask you, Aaron, what did you think about last night?
Well, I was up till 3 a.m. watching it, and I wasn't totally surprised at what I saw. I know all the polls had Kamala going to win, but as I told you earlier, there's two things the polls don't take in consideration, and that's the fact that how many of the Democrats was going to jump to the other side, which I got that figure. That's 15 million that they lost, that she got less than Biden got when he ran. And that 15 million would have made the difference between win or lose. And then there's that wild card called low propensity voters. Voters don't hardly ever vote. They hardly ever come out. They came out in record numbers. So between Democrats jumping sides and the low propensity voters coming out voting, it made all the difference in the world. I mean, as far as Harris went, she had 226 electoral votes. She got 67,244,107 votes. Trump got 72,050,129 votes. Robert Kennedy, which I thought he dropped out, but apparently they still had him on.
Oh, he was still on the ballot though. I mean, I don't know why he'd be still on the ballot though, because he dropped out.
Right. And he got 602,000 votes, 440. And then Jill Kennedy, she represented the Green Party, which I never even heard of her. She got 629,960 votes. She got more votes than Robert Kennedy got. And I've never even heard of her. But I never really heard of the Green Party. But if you'd have took that that 1,200,000 votes and gave them over to Harris, it still wouldn't have made a difference. That 15 million less votes that she got than what Biden did was crucial. And then those low propensity voters coming out in record numbers at different voting locations, it made all the difference in the world. And I don't care what poll you're running, you can't anticipate that.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, so she lost 15 million votes, right?
Yeah.
Now, in your opinion, why do you think she lost that many? You know what I mean? Was it A, because she was a woman? B, they didn't think she could do the job, you know, whatever. Because back when Biden first dropped out as running, it was a whole thing dealing with that, because they were saying that he was pressured to bowing out and all that because of the debate that they had previously. And so they said that he was just pressured to be being pushed out the way. And then there was an issue right before the convention, because there was a few people, including Obama, that wanted to open it up to have anybody could go and then they would vote to see who was going to represent the Democratic Party. And then all of that ended up changing, and then everybody ended up, with Kamala. You know what I mean? So there was already some division within the party already, because, some of them didn't want her there. They didn't want her running, Now, whether you liked her or not, but being the fact that you're in that particular party, I mean, why do you think that they backed away the way they did? I mean, is it something that she said? Is it a particular um uh topic, or something that she had talked about in a debate or anything like that? What do you think went on to make her, like less popular to the point that 15 million people backed away?
Well, I think it was how she came about being running for president. I mean, from what I saw, and I didn't like it at all, she was selected. She wasn't elected. She wasn't picked by the Democratic Party. She wasn't even going to run. You had all these other guys that were running, and women that were running for office. And when Biden decided to throw his hat in the ring, slowly they backed out. Now, when they heard that Biden was backing out, they wanted to come back in. And because she had those 7 billionaires that selected her and said they put their money behind her, they told them other people they couldn't come back and run, which I thought that was illegal. If someone can afford to run for office, they should be able to run. But she was selected, and Bill Gates' wife was one of the 7 that selected her. And that probably caused bad feelings within her own party, seeing that she was picked over them and other people that felt they had seniority or had experience over her. That's a bitter pill to have to swallow, be told that you can't run, and they're going to run somebody that's lesser skilled, lesser talent than you. I could see the anger in some of them, but if you're selected and not elected, then and you don't get the nomination. I mean, she was the only candidate even selected until she went to the Democratic Party. That's to that convention. That's when she got the nomination from the Democrats. But when the other people were told they couldn't run because they was going to throw their money behind her, that's a bitter pill to have to swallow to me.
Now, that's crazy though, because wouldn't you think that, okay, yes, she is the VP, so by right, she should be able to run. She should be able to run because she was the VP.
Right. But she had no intention at first.
Right.
Go ahead.
But being that exactly, she had no She had no intention at first, but she did step up because and of course they did start throwing money at her because as soon as she said she was going to do it, money started pouring in. So you were thinking at that point, like, wow, the party is actually going to rally behind her, and then you started hearing little stuff here and there about, some was, some wasn't, then you had, what was the one senator, he was mad because he couldn't run, Joe Manchin. But if you remember, he been flip-flopping since he been there. Because if you remember correct, when he became the senator of West Virginia, he was a Republican. Then he switched over to Democrat.
Okay,
Then
I
he
forgot
switched
about
over to Independent. And then when Biden decided he was going to step down, then he wanted to go back to be a Democrat to be able to run. You know what I mean? At that point, they just basically said, man, keep your ass over where you at. You ain't been over here. Keep your ass on back over where you at. So he was in his feelings because he didn't get to run. But
and that's how Kennedy became. I mean, Kennedy wanted to run, and because they wouldn't recognize him, he went on and tried to run as an independent, and they felt that was going to split the Democratic vote with him running separate like that, which it could have. They definitely lost votes.
Well, they didn't even, when it came down to doing the debate. Now, if he would have been included on some of that, I mean, like you would think, okay, so if he's on a ballot, he should be included. Just like the Green Party candidate, should have been included in the debate. But they just made it just these two. So it's like, okay, we just gonna focus on these two. These, they don't count. You know what I mean? But they are running. So they should have had their time to be able to speak their piece and
Right.
for the American people to actually hear what they had to say. You know what I mean? They may have been talking about something that actually made sense. You know what I mean? Maybe they had some answers. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't have been a situation where somebody said, like I heard today, picking the lesser of the two evils, or, what I mean, I couldn't just vote for no woman because, overseas they wouldn't talk to her overseas because they don't respect women over there. It's like, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? That's bullshit. Like some of this stuff, you got to put it where it is. But if you have four candidates that was actually running, and you actually put the other two and gave them a chance to actually talk, then it wouldn't have been a situation where you picking the lesser of the two evils. You actually had a choice. You know what I mean? But of course, you got mainstream that didn't even recognize them. Like they bought, like you heard about RFK every now and again. They bought him up. You heard about him more when he dropped out as opposed to when he was actually running. And then when he did drop out, what did he do? He ran over, joined forces over here. And he's been helping over on that end. You know what I mean? So
Right.
It's a lot of stuff going on. The second thing that I seen people posting a lot on is about the Project 2025. I know you know about that. A lot of people on there was talking about that because as opposed where it was talking about the about abolishing, Board of Education and the FBI, and about not being able to get a divorce, blocking interracial marriages, all different kind of stuff. This is a lot of stuff that I was reading today. I'm just going off the top of my head what I was reading on there. So, what do you think about that?
I don't particularly believe in that Project 2025 because somewhere in it said about putting people back into slavery too. And when it started talking along those lines, that was such a fantasy to me that it cannot be done. There's just no way. So I think a lot of it was propaganda myself, but you always have to ask what if it's real, but I personally don't think that it is.
Okay, so let me ask you. Okay, so let me ask you the what if question. What if it was real? How would you respond to it?
We would be involved in a civil war at that point, and it wouldn't go well for this nation. Not at all.
Mhm. So you think that it would actually lead to a civil war
I mean, if you're talking
if
about putting
they?
people back in slavery, yeah, hell yeah, it would. There'd be no way you could enforce that without going to war with your own population.
Mhm. Right, exactly. Okay, so another one that I seen on here. I mean, because of course I went today and just wrote down all these little questions, these different comments that I seen people on there doing. So another one that I seen on there, they were talking um, about the court case in New York, the sentencing in New York. Um, so that comment was talking about the actual court case, and they were asking about the um, would he be able to basically pardon himself from that? You know,
The president has the ability to pardon people. It seemed to me that he'd had the ability to pardon himself, or Joe Biden could pardon him right now if he wanted to. Um, I don't see any need in going through with that because I never understood that case to begin with. It was
yeah,
centered around him having sex with a porn star, which the statute of limitations had long passed on that. She blackmailed him. He didn't blackmail her. He paid her off twice to shut her up, and she still went public with it after she got paid off. And he's going to be charged for paying her, and he was the one being blackmailed. And that whole thing just stunk to me. And why would I care who he had sex with? I mean, men and women have sex with each other. That's the way life is.
mhm,
I don't care who he chooses to have sex with. That's not even any of my business on that.
right.
And then you want to put him in jail for it?
Yeah,
That
what I was reading up
prison
on
thing.
here, what I was reading up on here about that, um, the answer to that question is could he pardon himself for those charges? The answer is no.
No, he can't. Okay,
He cannot. He
I'm
can only
surprised.
do it if it was federal, not state. Um, so
So
what
that
would have
would
to be
say,
done here, it would have to go to um like they would have to go and present to this judge to get them to ask the judge whether he could suspend it indefinitely. If not, then they could go after he made a sentence and they could go and appeal it and it go to the appeals court and then they can decide from that point whether to uh, go along go along with it or let it go. So,
okay.
but he can't actually get out of it himself. So that
So
was
that was a state case. That wasn't a federal case because I
yeah,
didn't know.
that was state.
Okay,
Yeah. So
okay,
now if it was federal, he could do it. He could actually
okay.
he could get on there and pardon himself and boom. So yeah, but long as it's state, no, he couldn't. You still got to go through the actual channels. Now they can push the shit back. You know, what I mean, if he got some people that's on his side, he can push the shit back as far enough by the time um they actually do anything. Hell, he wouldn't even be in office no more. You know, what I mean, they could they could easily do that.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
um, another question that I seen on there was um being the fact that as of right now, he is still considered a convicted felon. How can he get a security clearance?
That I don't know.
Now,
I mean, they have to give it to him because he's the president. I mean, there's no way around that.
you see, that's the problem
Because they're going to
because
have to give him security briefings on a daily basis. They can't. Who are they going to whisper it to? Vance? I mean, Vance is a smart dude, but he's not the president.
right. See, now this is where it gets tricky, okay? Because by law, if you have a felony, you cannot have a security clearance. They also have him on a fraud case, and if you have fraud, you cannot have a security clearance. So I don't know how they're going to finagle that, but according to what they have written, it can't be done. Now I want to see how they do it, because you see, like, one thing that we've been noticing throughout is that the rules that may apply to you don't apply to everyone.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And they've been getting away with a lot of that anyway. You know what I mean? Because say, like, for instance, somebody else put a question on here that I wrote down and said, well, if that's the case and he's president and a convicted felon as of right now, should they take off felonies on all applications? This is the question that somebody had posted, that that somebody had sent to me to ask. So what do you think?
Well, I can see if they want to relax the felonies. I don't think they could take violent felonies off of an application because that would have bearance as to whether you want to hire a particular employee. But just nonviolent felonies, I could see where they could take that off. I mean, from what I saw today, they got the Senate. The House is still up for grabs. They got the presidency. I think, but I'm not sure if they got the Supreme Court. I heard that they got enough people in position there that they think they got control of that. So presidential executive orders could be enacted. They could change some laws if they want to. I mean, if you got control of the House and you got control of the Senate, you have the ability to change laws.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And the
get that.
House right now, the House is still up for grabs. So I don't know if they got control of the House or not.
But that, along with that comes, that goes along with setting precedents, because you going through to change laws because this is going on. At that point, you set a precedence, which means what you do for one, you do for all.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that was my question on that. I mean, like I said, I wrote down all the questions that people had sent me because they wanted me to ask these particular questions, which I am. And I know that, yes, he does have to have a top secret clearance. What's up, Mike?
What's up? What's
How
up?
you doing? So I know he does have to have a top secret clearance. I do know that. And one way or the other, he's gonna get it. Now, like I said, the question that they're asking is how is he gonna be able to get it? But like I said, even if you go through and change it, then that sets a precedence that you have to do for everybody at that point in time. Like, how does that go?
Well, again, if you got control of the House and Senate, those are your lawmakers.
Yep.
You got control there. You can have rules changed. You can adjust it any way you want. That's the whole advantage of getting control of the House or the Senate. So
Right. And I know that he has that option to do if that takes place. But
right.
you're missing what I'm saying.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Once you do that, then everybody else can use the same thing.
Well,
That's what
let
you
me
got to
give you an
think about, though,
example.
because you're not just helping him. You helping
Right.
now you got to help everybody, because once you do that, you open it up. It's like you opening up a can of shit. that you know what I mean? And then you
Yep.
can't say, oh, well, we doing it just for this, but can't nobody else do it. No, you gotta be able to has to be able to move around.
Well, let me give you an example of where it didn't move around. Bill Clinton had got that blowjob from that one woman, and he said to the public, "I never had sex or relations with that woman." Now
Exactly.
every John that got picked up by the police that was sitting in their cars getting BJ's done to them, that tried to use that as an excuse, it wasn't accepted nowhere else.
Well, because he lied under oath is what essentially is what got him impeached. It wasn't because of the act. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But of course, it
Clinton
ties
didn't get,
back down to it.
I didn't think Clinton got impeached, did he?
Yes, and he lied under oath. That's why he got impeached.
Yeah, he didn't get
Oh,
but he didn't get thrown out.
No, he didn't get thrown out,
my
but the
memory
legal
ain't that.
proceeding of impeachment did happen.
Yeah, he
Yes.
went through the proceedings.
And
he didn't
well,
get
he
Richard
got
Nixon impeached. He didn't get Richard
right.
Nixon.
He got the
He didn't get found
impeachment, and it
guilty.
held that it just like Trump, he got impeached once. You know what I mean? Just like him, it happened too. But did he actually get thrown out? No.
No, okay.
Mhm. So what you got, Mike? Since you've been, I know
Yeah, man,
you've
I've been
dealing-
heavy in this this political world, and it's very interesting to watch hindsight. And of course, you guys know that I've been reporting on basically all of this for the last 8 months straight, so I'm very invested in it. Truthfully, this is just, I hate to be this guy, right? But I am definitely going to let you know how I feel. I'm stoked on the country right now. I think it's about damn time, for real. That's about it. I'm stoked on it.
What about him being president?
Yeah,
Or-
just the election. Just the election. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were kind of bouncing around on different ones because I had went through today and people had sent me questions.
Sure.
Just different ones that they wanted an answer to. I wanted to know, what we thought about it anyway. And so we was talking about this particular part here because somebody said, how would he be able to get a clearance? And the person who sent me this is a retired Army colonel.
Okay, right on.
And he asked, how was he able to get how was he able to get a security clearance with a felony? So that was the question that I had asked Aaron. That's what we was talking about. If you go through and actually, change that law, then once you do that, okay, yeah, you may free him on this end, but that also sets a precedent that you have to do to everybody else.
Well, that would do that for, exactly what the actual true fear of something like that. And I can understand because it's not just him, it's everybody after him, right? You know what I mean? And so I understand the mindset there. I get you.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. You know what I mean? Like, I know that he has to have a clearance in order for him to do his briefings and everything else. I know he has to have that clearance. And so the question was like, okay, like, how was he going to be able to do it? I know they're going to have to rearrange something in order for that to happen. But once he do that and it opens up to everybody else, what happens at that point? You know what I mean? So do you just blanket say, okay, you take all that shit off applications, all that shit, like don't ask, don't tell. Like, you know what I mean? You don't ask me about it, I don't got to tell you shit. And you can't use it against me or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Will it be something like that? You know what I mean? Because then that goes into, another range, because like I said, if you're a felon, can't have a gun either. You know what I mean? So there's
multiple. Yeah,
right.
There's layers to everything. Yeah, there's layers to definitely everything.
Right. So like once you start here, then it's gonna bring this and bring this and bring this. So it's a whole culmination of shit that you can build up just from this one thing. No
kidding. You're right. Yep. And hence what people are scared of, for instance, Trump, saying the whole immunity thing. There's a lot of things that I believe the public are wary about. I think a lot of what has been spewed out, the rhetoric, even Trump's ordeal with the immunity thing, I think that was taken a little far. I don't think that a lot of what's going to happen, for instance, like the Project 2025 thing, I don't mean to deviate too much, but for instance, like everyone's like, oh, well, Project 2025 is in. No, well, no, it's not. You know what I mean? And I guarantee you that if anything gets implemented out of Project 2025, it'll be maybe, and this is considering Congress having the House, having everything, we'd probably see about 40% of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of it wouldn't get passed 100%.
Mm-hmm. So what was the lie?
What lie?
The one that's one of your people. What's his name? Hook Dog. What was the lie that was being that was being spread?
I wasn't even reading. Here we go.
That one right there. Actually, that's the same one. That's the same one that had some shit to say last week that I commented on. You know what I mean? So that he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about then. So what was the lie that was told? Actually, I'd like to talk to you for real. I'd like to put you on here and talk to your ass for real.
Well, I mean, if you want, I can always send him the link.
I mean, since you want to be that one and want to sit there and fucking be the tech savage and shit. Next thing.
Yeah.
What about the what's the next question on here? What is your thoughts on mass deportation? That's the next question they put on here.
Mass deportation. Are they here legally or illegally? You know what I mean? In that context.
Well, I think what they're talking about on there is that one of the, you know, on some of the different debates and stuff like town hall meetings and stuff like that, they were talking about the whole migrant thing and being able to what was going to happen dealing with the migrants, and he was talking about doing a mass deportation and shutting down the border and stuff like that. So the question they was asking is that what was our thoughts on it? Like, do we agree, disagree? Why?
Got you. Okay, so now deportation is going to be a little bit more complex than just the border issue, right? So now when it comes down to the border, ironically, people would think that the Republicans are all, you know, we actually need to have a physical wall right here. This is what's going to stop everything. No, it's not true. We know that the asylum laws is what truly needs to be worked on here, and his team knows it too. You know, when it comes to mass deportation, believe it or not, I'm completely in favor for it. If you're here illegally, and also if you've come here on some sort of, you're looking for asylum. Well, if you're actually from an asylum country where you're actively getting nuked or something, okay, you know what I mean? Got you. But you just coming from a poor country doesn't qualify. Sorry, go back home.
Okay, in my case, I'm going to explain it by using an analogy. I'm going to put myself in the figure. I represent the United States. Now, I'm a retired gentleman. I live on Social Security and my retirement. If I had to take people into my home right now, my daughter, her 2 kids, and her husband would probably be the limit that I could afford and still be able to give them a living. I would struggle, but it would be a living. Now, if each and every month after that, you add an extra person to my household, I'm going to collapse because economically I can't afford it. And right now, we can't afford this. Our economy is wrecked. And I'm surprised Trump wanted to be in there leading right now with it being such a wreck, because if he can't straighten it out, they're going to blame it on him. Now, we can't take all these people. And I don't know if you guys saw that new caravan they got coming through Mexico right now, coming this way. It's massive. They got buses, cars, people marching. They're all coming toward the border. There comes a point that you have to say no more. I'm at my limit right now. We took in all that we could take in. You guys have to go somewhere else. Go to Great Britain, go to Germany, go to France. Got to find somewhere else to go. We can't afford this no more. You look at Chicago, they won't even take no more migrants. The mayor up there, she got mad and she said, don't send no more buses of them people this way. New York don't want no more of them. I mean, everybody's reaching the limit. overstretching the budgets of the cities that they're moving to. In my area, outside of Cincinnati, there's a small town, and it's a little borough. It's probably only 3 square miles in diameter. Very small town. Maximum population they got is 3,500 people. They just had a bunch of people dropped off. It was 3,000 dropped off to them. And the mayor went on the news here locally, and he said, we can't afford this. It's overstretching our budget. They used to camping and cooking outside, and they're causing fires inside their homes because they don't know how to use a stove. And he started naming a bunch of things of how their system has been overstretched by the U.S. government, doubling their population base. And he wanted to know, why do they keep dropping them off in the poor areas? Why aren't they dropping them off in the more affluent areas that might have jobs and things that can afford those people are living? Why you keep dropping them off on the poor communities like Springfield or other areas of that nature? So do I support deportation? Yeah, I do. Because there comes a point to where you got too many people and you can't afford them. And you got to close things off and say, we've reached our maximum limit. We can't afford this no more. We got to take care of Americans first. I think this is the greatest country in the world. There's no country I want to live in more than America. And knowing that, I want to see the best for us and the best lifestyle that we can afford. And Argentina, Mexico, Venezuela, and them sending all them prisoners over here, prison people over here that's committing violent acts here. We don't need that kind of trouble here. I like the peace. I don't want to be dealing with riots. I don't want to be dealing with violence. I don't want nobody shaking me down for money to live in an apartment building or to live in my house. They're camping out in my yard and charging me to stay in my own property. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with terrorism over here. I like the peace that we've been afforded. And I like to see that continue for my daughter and for my grandchildren. So if these people are going to violate that peace, and apparently some of them are, now I'm not going to say all of them are bad. Let's say that only 5% of the 30 million they sent over here is bad. That's 500,000 that could be violent and could be we hate America types. And if that's the case, get them up out of here. Keep the over 95% that's already here. But if our budget says we can't afford this, we got to scale it down to affordable numbers. And we have to have the jobs to be able to give to those people when they come over here. If we don't have enough jobs to go around, then if people can't make money off the system, they're going to make money from the system by doing criminal acts. They'll just get desperate and they won't have any other choice. We don't need that kind of trouble. So do I support the deportation? Yeah, Great Britain has done it this year. They deported all the people that came in over there because they just couldn't afford it. And
the people there were not going to have it.
Yeah, they weren't going to have it no more. And it's going to cause resentment for the American people that are struggling out here trying to work, and they're becoming homeless, and they're watching the government get priority status. They're giving them business loans. They're getting free medical. They're getting free money, $4,000 to $8,000 a month. I don't even get that. And I paid into the system my entire life. I worked multiple jobs to try to provide for my family. I'd work two and a half jobs at a time to try to provide. And you're giving more to them than you would give to me. I don't think that's fair. It's going to cause resentment. It'll cause violence from the American people against some of those migrants. We have to look at what is workable numbers, what we can take. And at that point, anything beyond that is too much. So I say we got to work from a budget. And that's what I do in my home. I work from a budget.
Yep.
Sometimes
you got to sacrifice certain things. Sometimes you have to cut off the dead weight. People that are not contributing to society, not paying taxes in the proper regard. You know what I mean? Aside from just buying things. It's definitely unfortunate. And yes, you're very right. And hence why, since we've seen this mega problem, it's definitely got a lot of resentment. The American people have a lot of resentment. I mean, just look at the people in North Carolina right now. You know what I mean? We're sending billions of dollars around the globe like it's nothing. And these guys are getting denied their $750. You know? Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you too. Aaron said a mouthful, but yeah, I'm in agreement with you too as to the actual deportation part, because I mean, you're right, it is putting a strain on everything else. But you also got to think about this. They paying a shitload of money to keep them here, which I heard that they tapped into FEMA funds and to actually give to the migrants in the first place.
Social Security as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So not only are you spending a lot to keep them here, but you're gonna spend a hell of a lot to send them back too.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. So I did some figures on just they said it was like, first they said it was like 18 million, then we heard it was like 20 million.
Yes.
Whatever. So you really don't have an accurate number. They don't even have an accurate number. They just know it's a whole lot of motherfuckers over
Yeah,
here.
we don't know how many people are here like that.
Yeah. So I just did it based on a million, based on the figures that they were putting out. Now, like they never in a year's time, I think like the max that they've ever deported in a year was like 230,000.
It must have been under Obama.
Never. Well, they said that in history, that's the
wow.
most that they've sent out in a year.
Wow.
230,000. But if you got 20 million, then you got to go way more than that. So you got to do, let's say
triple, quadruple.
Right. I just said a million just for the numbers. So just for once you do all that, of course you gotta round them all up, right? So you're gonna need 31,000 more
ICE members,
ICE officials, ICE attorneys, and judges, because they gotta
you got to deal with the problem now.
Right, because you gotta go through the whole process in order for that to go. Like you can walk in, but you gotta go through a whole process to go out. Then it says that from what I read up is that the actual country that they came from has to be willing to accept them back. And if not, then you have to send them to another country.
What?
Yeah.
Well, what here in America, we just ditch you in a hospital. You know what I mean?
So that was weird. Like you come from, let's say Venezuela, for instance, you come over here and then we're going to send you back. And then they can say, oh no, we don't want them. Send them somewhere else. You know what I mean? You would think the same way you came in, you go out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Sorry about your luck, dude. From here, from this border, sorry. I don't care about what you got going on the other side. You just cannot be here. Right. That's interesting that you can't do that.
Right. So they said that per flight, that's for those, like the big charter planes or whatever that they use to go back and forth with. It would be, for a 1 hour flight, would be 17,000.
God.
Go from here to another country. So for 1 million people that you are deporting, it would be 350 billion total.
I believe it.
So, but that's just for a million. They said it's 20.
So, out of curiosity, if we were to continue to house them or be here, fund them, whatever, how much more money would we be spending?
It'd probably be it'd probably be, I say probably.
So there's money that's going to have to be spent no matter what here,
Either way it goes, it's going to have to be spent.
Right.
Yeah. But you got to think about this. That this money has to be spent. The question is where it's going to come from.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
You know what I mean? Because you got to
come from us.
You can't keep printing, because you got these other countries bringing back these treasuries.
From bricks.
So you got more shit circulating as it is already. You know what I mean? So you already got to figure out what you're gonna do about that issue. I think that should be the, come January, I think that should be the very first thing that they should be worried about. It's like, what are you going to do about this? Are you going to go back to the gold standard? Or what are you going to do with that? That should be the key focal point thing that needs to be done. Actually, that needs to be done now. Shouldn't have to wait till January. That should be actually be worked on now.
Absolutely. I got to agree.
They,
could I address?
Hold on one second.
Go ahead.
But we was, so yeah, you are spending probably 2 times more here, paying off every month, 2, probably 3. I mean, hell, if they make it $9,000 a month, some of them getting $9,000, $8,000, $6,000, probably a good 3 times more.
Even if we said only 3,000, you know what I mean? That's still absurd. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money that Americans be using.
I don't even see the I don't even see giving them 3,000 for real, especially when you got families. Actual American families right now that don't have nothing.
No kidding.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, once you start doing stuff like that, you setting precedences. This is another one that I'm talking about. Okay, how is it cool to do it here, but it ain't here? You know what I mean? How you give somebody free medical over here, but you cutting people's Medicaid and Medicare over here.
No kidding. It's actually unreal to watch. Yeah. It's unfortunate. And who actually gets hurt during this whole thing is American citizens. Who gains from this? The people committing illegal acts are being condoned to do this. We're allowing it. And we reward you for doing it. Hey, you got here. Here's your money.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation. You know what I mean? But like I said, never should have happened in the first place. So of course you got to go through and try to fix it. You know what I mean? The best way you can. I mean, of course, it's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed. You know what I mean? I do think getting this dollar fix should be the.
I gotta agree with that. I gotta agree with that.
Be the most primary thing that you think about.
Yeah, currency is totally in threat right now, and so it'll be interesting just within the next year, watching how that's going to unfold.
So what do you think? Aaron, go ahead.
To finish up on what you were saying about the deportations, that's what you got: U.S. Marshals, National Guard, and Department of Homeland Security can round them people up. You don't have to hire extra people. And it's called cutting your losses, knowing what it's going to cost you in the long run, what is it going to cost you in the short run to cut them losses and figure out which way is going to be best to go. I'd cut my losses whichever way would be the cheapest. Now, going on to what you guys are saying about the currency, that's top stick. And I'm going to tell you, there's 3 things that's going to fall into place on that. Trump is either going to have to start what they call austerity measures, but it would take 15 years to clean up the mess that this country is in right now. And it would take an extreme tightening of the belt of everyone to make that happen. And then the next 2 presidents or the next 2 terms would have to follow Trump's policies to try to clean this damn mess up. We can go for the economic reset, which is going to bring in the digital currency. And Trump ain't going for that. And I'm glad that he's not, because I don't share that digital currency shit. So the economic reset that they keep crying about is in the mix, but would he be able to stop it if the deep state decided to invoke it and collapse the economy around his neck and try that trick bag up on him and blame him for it? He wouldn't be able to stop it, because BlackRock and different organizations out there to make up the deep state, they got a lot of damn power, and people should not underestimate them. If they want to collapse the US dollar or collapse the stock market or do a combination of both, they could get away with. And then the only other thing would be to go to war. And if we go to war, we have to defeat Russia or China, which is 2 of the mother chapters of the BRIC alliance. If we can take them both on and defeat them quickly, or defeat one of them, we'd scare the hell out of the rest of the BRIC alliance and bring Saudi Arabia and the rest of them back to the bargaining table with us. Right now, they're jumping to the other side because they see more power on the other side. You got North Korea firing off those missiles right now. You got Iran, who's tested their second nuke underground. You got China practicing to put an embargo around Taiwan and surround them with ships and airplanes and literally starve them into submission. We'd have to be ready to break that blockade if we wanted to get help in there to those people. And we wouldn't be able to fly nothing in because they just shoot you down with some sort of anti-air missile. There's a lot of serious problems going on right now. The quickest would be the economic reset. The slowest would be the austerity measures. And then war would fall somewhere in the middle. But we're headed toward tough times. We got the guy in there that can probably do the best at it because he's a businessman. He's not just a politician. But I wouldn't want to be the one holding that responsibility right now. I mean, we're literally headed toward tougher times right now. To go up against the BRIC alliance and have a almost $36 trillion weight tied around our legs called the national debt, you can't win that. You got to get rid of that debt, do even economic reset or beat the hell out of the opposition through gunboat diplomacy and keep our money as the world currency. The austerity measures, 15 years, that's what it took to bring us out of the Great Depression. And it was World War II that brought us out of it. So people suffered for 15 years waiting on relief. And it took a damn world war to make it happen. So I don't want people to see, well, Trump's in office, I don't have to prep no more. Oh, no, he's going to buy you some time, but you better still be prepping. And you better get your money up because when we hit those hard times, the people with the most reserves are going to be the ones that's going to make it through, not the ones that are living paycheck to paycheck. So start getting your money up, start saving, because you're going to need every dime down the road.
Real quick, speaking of money, I really quick got to call this out. Before it even started, Jess White had gifted out 5 memberships to you guys in the Breakfast Club, as well as Tats sent one out to you guys. Brother Lee Lance, this is all before I even hopped on. Brother Lee Lance with the $5 super sticker, man. Thank you. And then just hitting it again for a 10 on this stream. Thank you so much. Damn, man. Thank you guys.
I think she's trying to send you a signal, Mike.
Oh, absolutely. That signal's well received. Do you know what I mean?
Right. But we got another visitor in the green room.
Let's do it.
Go ahead and pop him up here quick.
All right. The man, the myth, the legend. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up? How you doing, man?
Man, hanging in there.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So what do you think about this crazy ass topic, huh?
Well, I was actually in a meeting a little earlier, so I missed some of it, but I heard what Aaron was saying. And Aaron, I got to tell you, while I agree with a good part about what you said, here I go. Good Lord Almighty. Let's go ahead and get the party started. Hold on. Shit. Okay, let me tell you what's going on. I vehemently disagree that we have the correct guy in there to do the job. I vehemently disagree. Listen, the election day was yesterday and all like that, but that does not change the fact that for everything that you described, Aaron, what you described was the concerns, world concerns. You mentioned China and what China's doing to Taiwan. You mentioned a lot of these world global issues that we have. And anybody who thinks that Trump is not going to move us in the direction of war is sadly mistaken. It's been very well documented by a number of his top aides, not just the generals that he hates all of a sudden and fires them, but I'm talking chief of staff. Which one are you talking about? Because it's like revolving door during his administration. But all of these folks are saying the same exact thing: is that they all spent more than 50% of their time trying to get him not to push the button. Where's the football? And why don't we just bomb him? This was normal conversation with him because he didn't understand or appreciate the gravity of the strength of his office. NATO is history. So the idea of, see, America, every time we went to war, and this is the thing that I think a lot of folks on the right just completely dismiss, or they don't understand, or they didn't open a book since the 4th grade or something. But every time we went to war, they were called world wars, meaning it was not America against everybody else. It was a collaboration. It was, what was that?
It was us hopping in late. That's what was
Yeah,
going
pretty
on.
much.
You know what I
Pretty
mean?
much every time.
And decimating. Yeah.
But it was not always America by itself. We had allies. We've always had allies. And we've never had a president to alienate all of our allies with, or going into the presidency with the intention of, I can't wait to get in there so I can get us out of NATO and just fuck up every deal that we've spent, in some cases, decades establishing. Now, if you don't like in Trump's position, because it sounds really cool to say, hey, everybody else in NATO is not carrying their own weight. And, you know, that's a really cool thing to say. But if you look at the amount of money that these people are spending versus their GDP in regard to these different wars and conflicts that are going on around the world since 2016, you will clearly see these people are, in fact, carrying their fair share. The difference is that America, we make more money. So we're actually spending on a percentage basis less than these other countries. But on a aggregate, if you're looking at an aggregate amount, then yes, America spends on an aggregate amount more than some of these countries. But on a percentage basis, they're giving more of what they got. It's like the little lesson that you learned in church when you were a kid. If you gave $1, you know, in my case, if I'm a little kid, if I gave 50 cents in the collection plate, the guy 2 pews over who's got some money, he's like, huh, he's only giving 50 cents. I'm going to give $5. Well, that kid might have $50 and I might have only had $1. Which one of us gave more? Did I give more with my 50 cents, or did he give more with his $5 and he's got 50 of them? Well, it depends. Conventional wisdom says that the kid that gave 50 cents out of the whole dollar that he had, he gave more. It was more to him. It was what he had to give. It was a bigger percentage of it. And I'm sure y'all follow what I'm saying. But just black and white, the just boiling it down to the simplest terms that we can. Trump is hawkish and don't even know why. He is just enamored with these so-called strongmen like Vladimir Putin. See, I came up at a time, I know myself and Archbishop, we came up in a time in the military where I think Ronald Reagan was your commander-in-chief too, right?
What's that?
Was Reagan your commander-in-chief when you were in?
No, hell no. I ain't that
Wait,
old.
Yeah, I'm not old. My bad. My bad.
He said, I'm not that old. What the hell?
I'm not old. All right. So Ronald
Speak
Reagan
for
was my
yourself,
commander in
homie.
chief.
You know what I
I
mean?
gotta speak for myself. My bad. Yo, but look, what I'm saying is that my commander in chief, as a civilian, which I was not, I didn't agree with all of his everything. I did appreciate greatly his stance globally. I think Ronald Reagan was a horrible president domestically. I thought he was excellent as far as foreign affairs were concerned. And he made you not just, it was easier to be proud to be an American when you go to these other places around the world, because we had a president who was respectful, and he was presidential and he did his thing. They called him the great communicator and all this other kind of stuff. But the thing is Reagan was a serious president. He did not alienate our allies. He propped them up. He made them want to and encouraged them to participate with everything that we did. So we had the backup, but we led the way. Man, America was the shit, really was. But those days are gone. Unfortunately, those days are gone right now. But the thing is, so we could talk about a few different things economically. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me shut the fuck up because I'll go on.
Hold on 1 second. Because I know you're getting ready to jump into something, but we got somebody else in here we need to pop on here too.
Yeah, right on.
So we're gonna
What's
plot.
up, kind sir? See what happens when you bring Big Bone onto a panel, and then all of a sudden Black Dragon gets the courage. You know what I mean?
Oh,
that's what happened here.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, shots fired. You dig?
Right. Late as hell.
Emotional damage.
Oh, you got your toys working? Do you?
Oh
Mike?
yeah, do yours? Usually yours don't work. Usually you're on some lagging dragon shit. You dig?
Oh my goodness, a young man. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's been a
Michael
long
Bradley.
time since me and you spoke.
Just a couple hours, right?
Yeah, that's right. So what do you think, Black Dragon, about this whole ordeal with you and your dogs?
You know what? Those dogs have been quiet all night. Brutus, stop. Sit. What do I think about what? The election?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that America has spoken. I think America has spoken, and loudly. The Republicans won both houses, the presidency, and they also have the Supreme Court, and
this girl was
hundreds of appointments coming up in the federal courts. So
We're fucked, is what you're saying. I understand. I agree.
What'd you say, brother?
I said you said we're fucked, is what you're saying, and I agree with you. Yes,
And
you're right.
they've got probably another 25 years of affect as a result. If you look at all of the court picks, and they put very young, they're trying to get young people on the court, so they'll have 25 years or 30 years on the court. So for a generation or two,
hey, easy. I just ate.
for a generation or two, it's going to be very much the character of the land is going to be very much shaped by number 47 and his reign, as it were. And there were many things that the Democrats were up against. Probably one of the biggest was a bad economy. For whatever reason, the economy was bad. It's hard for an incumbent to win on a bad economy. And you had a woman and a black woman, and the country, including African American men, they got 20% of the black vote in Georgia. So what do I think? I think that the nation has spoken in a way. Normally the nation is kind of interesting. It'll be 50-50. It'll do some weird shit, like it'll give Barack Obama the presidency, but the House and the Senate will go to the Republicans, and then the Supreme Court will be divided. Or we'll see the opposite. You'll see the president, the Republican get the presidency and the court, and the Democrats will get both houses, or something like that. Some kind of a mix. It's been a long time since there's been a clean fucking sweep, but that's what's happened.
Right.
Yeah, and it's very rare for that to happen on the red side. You know what I mean? If it's going to happen, usually does. You guys are a little bit more apt to get it on your side, which is fine.
Well, the red side has been working towards this for the last 40 years.
They accepted their defeat a long time ago, went and recollected themselves, came back fighting.
They had a whole Supreme Court replica built, and they practiced for years and years arguing Roe v. Wade. They had that on their radar. They did not know they'd be gifted a Donald Trump. But they were ready. They've been fighting for this takeover of the Roe v. Wade. They've been fighting for all this. This has been planned. And I was trying to give you that guy's name earlier, Mike.
Oh yeah, I never followed up on that. I had to go to dinner.
Who was he's not the Speaker of the House. Maybe he's the second in charge in the Senate, the Republican in charge in the Senate. Who was that? What's that guy's name?
Oh, not Michael Johnson. You're not Mike Johnson. You're talking about Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's who I was looking for, Mike. Mitch McConnell
Makes sense.
is as much an architect of this
Very much so.
as Donald Trump could ever be. This is truly, although he won't get the credit, this is truly the work of Mitch McConnell. And it started a long time ago, but one of the big things was when Barack Obama had a pick for the Supreme Court, and because he was a lame duck in his last year, Mitch McConnell would not. He was in charge of the. He was in charge
confirm
of.
it.
He wouldn't allow a confirmation hearing, citing that Obama was a lame duck in his last year, and it should be left. It should be left for the next president. And but when Trump was in his last year, he let him get his pick in. So, he reversed himself. But because he played that kind of hardball, we would say unfair. He wasn't, he made it very clear he was grossly trying to win. And
you know what else?
He did.
You know what else Trump did in his last days in the White House? Once Trump, all of his challenges and all of his legal trickery failed, and January 6th came about. That was the confirmation. And those last days, those last 2 weeks, what Donald Trump did, because he was so pissed off, do you realize that he had more black men put to death under the federal death penalty than we have had done in 60 years in the United States of America?
I want you to prove that.
Prove that. That's easy as all get out. Hold on. Watch this. You see that phone? Watch this. Hold on. Let me speak into the phone. Federal death warrants by Donald Trump.
No, you have to show intent. You have to show intent.
Were these murderers?
If they're doing dangerous, are they murderers?
Wait a minute. How about okay, let me answer the question. Let me answer the question. So it was a variety of cases. Here's the thing: the history of federal death warrants by a U.S. president is very rare. Barack Obama. Let me finish. Barack Obama, 0. Bill Clinton, 0. Freaking George W. Bush, 0. We haven't had, in fact, in the past, I want to say in the past 30 years, there's only been, prior to Trump, there had only been 3. Prior to that, there had only been, prior to the last 30 years, before that, there had only been about 6 or 7. And I'm going to pull it up for you in a second. But I'm multitasking. I'm stopping to talk to you to answer your question. Anybody listening will be able to verify absolutely what I'm saying. And hopefully you'll get flooded with the same stuff that I'm getting ready to show you right now. But this isn't like made up. It's like if I told you, I'm not saying you, Mike, but the way that a lot of MAGAs work, you say an absolute fact and they say, oh no, prove it. And then you prove it. And then they say, oh yeah, but what he really meant was, but like, please, somebody, I've been begging for somebody to explain to me for a few days now what it was, like, what was he really trying to say when he was giving head to the microphone?
Well,
nobody's got an excuse
in that case, I just want to say that generally, when you're talking about stuff like this, it usually is not a full context clip. It's a clip taken out of it's taken out of context.
Did you? Yeah, but they always say that, and that's very rarely.
Because I report all of it.
Okay, so you saw
every rally, every discussion, Bloomberg, you name it, I reported it. I was there watching it.
So did he or did he not do it? And was it? Are you going to say, oh well, what he really meant was he slipped and fell, and it looked like he was giving the mic head, or was he actually simulating doing a sexual act on a microphone? As silly as it sounds, we're talking about the next president of the United States and giving head to a microphone. You see how crazy that sounds? So, Mike,
well, at least he can answer a question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, answer the question. I'm asking.
Yeah, he can answer the question. Whether he's stroking the microphone or whatever, at least he can answer.
He can answer the question as opposed to who?
Opposed to Kamala Harris, who cannot answer.
Kamala Harris answered questions.
On edited clips? Where's the live streams?
Listen, I watched live stream. I watched her live on The View. I watched her at the DNC.
On The View.
I watched her. Oh, look, listen, just because Fox tells you not to like The View does not mean
I don't base any of my stuff from Fox, just so you know. I actually get all my news from the liberal media, just so you know.
Every every president in like the past 20 years has been on The View. So now all of a sudden The View's not good because you say so?
Absolutely.
Because Trump said
Yeah,
so?
it's not just
Okay,
me. It's
come on.
objective.
Okay. All right. So
It's a left-leaning outlet. We know it.
well, listen,
And it's funded
here's the
by
thing.
them.
So is Fox. And who went on Fox? We've got Gavin Newsom that goes on Fox. You've had
Yeah, because they actually invite liberals on. You're right.
not very often. Not very often. How often does man look? So I got it. You're that guy, so we ain't gonna, we'll go down a rabbit hole and we ain't gonna get nothing done. But to answer your question, which I'm sure you're gonna put more spin on, because I just asked you about the guy simulating sucking dick on a microphone.
I told you, yeah, he did that. He did that.
Okay. But then you threw in context.
No. I can tell you straight up. I'm not going to do a whataboutism. I'll tell you, yes, he answered the question, whether he was stroking a microphone or not. At least he can answer the question. That's it.
Yeah, but then of course you said
you asked who?
Yeah, because you made the inference that at least he answered the question as opposed to someone else who didn't. And of course, Kamala Harris has answered plenty of questions, but you're saying that she didn't. But how the hell could she run for president of the United States and not answer questions?
No, I get you. Go ahead, Black Dragon. I know you want to get in. I'll let you get in.
Look, so here you go. To answer your question, Associated Press, is that I don't know, is that red enough for you? Associated Press?
I don't know anything about them. I follow the money. That's it. So with any outlet,
You don't know what? Okay, Black Dragon, you know what AP is, right?
Yeah, I know what AP is. I'm just saying I don't know what it's funded about.
I've got it here.
Just ask the question.
On the BBC.
Right. It's like I feel like
got it here on the
I'm
BBC.
trying to establish that AP is credible.
I found it, and it's also here on BBC. So
BBC
is
that credible?
BBC, okay, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. Every news outlet.
Bring up a credible source.
Mike is going to see exactly. He's going to say that the source is not credible because
all you guys do is lie on your side. This is what you've done. You guys created this environment.
AP is now we're
skeptical of all of what you've got to say.
Associated Press and BBC are now not credible because they're not.
They haven't been credible in 10 years.
No, they've been credible from.
No, they have not. Ask any of us. I'm not the only one.
Who is us?
Ask anybody in this chat room right now. Ask anyone in this chat right now.
Well, these are your people, so you're right leaning, so they're going to do what they do.
Bring your people in here.
That's how MAGA moves.
Bring your people in here.
So I'll tell you what. So long story short, 13 federal executions at the end of Trump's presidency. So I'll tell you what, why don't you research it yourself? I know you won't.
I will.
Okay.
I'll be objective too.
What kind of spin are you going to put on it?
I won't. Listen,
right.
Here's the truth is I've always done this, and Black Dragon and everybody else can attest to this. If there is something that I am convicted on and yet I get proven wrong, I absolutely will concede.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
And that's
very respectful. Absolutely.
Okay.
Listen, I just pulled it up. You're saying AP is not credible. You said BBC was Black.
I just said I don't know much about AP. I don't know where the money comes from.
Definitely a credible news source.
But you just said that they weren't credible.
No. I said BBC.
Just to stop the arguments.
This is a debate. This is a debate.
Okay. Well,
this is what it's. What did you come up here for?
Okay.
Okay, BD, go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
Long story short,
you got to be able to agree on some things, like the sky is blue.
Well, I haven't seen you guys agree to nothing.
You guys? I just got here.
BD, me and you have been discussing this for 8 months straight. You've been fighting me every step of the way.
I just got here.
Yeah, on this very show, but we're talking objectively before this show.
You guys, and you're attributing something to me, and I just now got here. Come on.
Yeah, I mean that
you're gonna get pushback if you're gonna push on me. I'm gonna tell you, hey,
you asked a question. I just typed it in.
Yeah,
I've never even heard it before. I've never even heard that before.
That's what I'm saying. Is I've never even heard of that claim.
So I just typed it in.
But now you're wrong for doing that because you came up with information that agreed with me. So therefore, you're now wrong.
Okay, fantastic. What does that prove?
No, it just proves that that's what you just did.
No, it just sounds like you're doing a song. You haven't proved anything. But Big Bone, just so you know, you've only said words and shit so far. You haven't proved anything.
So
just so you know,
what would you like?
Go ahead and
what would you like?
Go ahead and share your screen.
Right here.
Share your screen, not from your phone. Share it from your computer so that we can put it up here and everyone can see it.
I don't know if I can do that with you.
Yes, you can. You hit present and share a screen.
All right, let's see.
Not on your phone, on your computer.
I got it. I'm on the computer. And
Cage
by the way,
match time.
do what?
Yeah, I'm just reading the comments. Cage match time. At the end of the day, I actually really do appreciate the back and forth. There's nothing personal between any of this, just so everyone knows. Everyone on this panel, too. I sit here and this is what I do daily. I debate politics every day.
Well, no, I not necessarily do you debate politics, but you do give your side every day.
No, I debate. Yeah. I absolutely debate.
So let me put it to you this way. Just so wait,
I haven't seen you debate, BD.
Mike, let me ask a question real quick, Mike. Do you is Google now on the list of
just go ahead and present? Just present your side.
That's a question. I'm
asking you. Present your side.
Yeah, I asked a question too. I asked you: is Google? Is that a reputable source?
I haven't dug in any of this. This is the very first time I've ever heard this claim. I'm not going to give you anything here. Go ahead and present your evidence. Present your evidence.
If I wanted to Google the color blue and a description for it, do you think Google would be a good
I can look up anything in my favor, Big Bone. That's what I can do.
That's not what I'm asking you.
That's what it's.
Do you? Okay, let me rephrase the question since you refused to answer the first question. Do you use Google on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm using Google. I'm trying to establish something real simple. This is going to be long and dragged out if you can't answer a simple question.
Hey, so, remember, you're on my show, Big.
That's true. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I asked you.
You are being disrespectful, and we're not going to play that game.
Okay, hold up.
I'm willing to have pushback, but there's zero disrespect.
Look, I asked a simple question. I'm sorry you took it as disrespect, but I asked a simple question that you refused to.
Hold up. I'm gonna mute you both. Now, Bone, you muted. Hold up. We're gonna have this debate. Okay. Bone, look up your stuff, put it on the paper. Mike, let him put his thing up, then we're gonna finish this conversation. Okay. So let everybody talk. I still got you muted. Let everybody talk. Give everybody their little chance. Don't interrupt. We can get this through. Okay. Thank you.
I've been waiting.
Go ahead, Bone. Present what you got.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I didn't say I knew how to do this shit.
You have a show, don't you?
Bro, look, see, didn't we just have a discussion about being disrespectful?
It just sounds like excuses to me.
Look, now you're asking me a question that I'm supposed to answer disrespectfully at that.
Just do it.
You heard me say a minute ago. You heard me say a minute ago, hey, I don't do this. I never professed to be.
Okay, I muted you so I can tell you how to do it. So you see down there where it says present? You see where it says present? Hit that, hit share screen.
I can do it. I can do it.
I didn't ask you, Black Dragon.
I can do it. I know.
I didn't ask you, Black Dragon.
It's very easy to look up. I looked that up.
Okay, that's fantastic. I want Big Bone's source. I don't want your source, BD.
Well, see, this is what I'm saying. Okay. Now, see, look.
I got you, Orlando. Let me check it. Where'd you post it?
So
somebody post the link. Hold up. Somebody
post the
link.
He started talking shit.
Post the damn link so we can get past this. Post the link.
Well, there's like a whole bunch of links here.
Right, exactly.
I can share the page I'm looking at.
Okay, share the page you're looking at.
I've shared it. Somebody's got to accept it. It's right here.
Boom.
Huh. Did I share the wrong page? Hold on a second.
Warren, where did you send me that link, by the way? You can't post it in the chat, by the way. You don't have permissions. You have to send that to me on Instagram or Discord. Either one.
Yeah, let me share screen. Screen one. Here we go. Boom. All right. So just a simple Google. Is Trump the country's most prolific execution president in more than a century? I found that over here in this article by the BBC, but you said you didn't like that.
Just
the
show it.
Hey, can you see mine?
So here's the BBC. Trump's final days, Russia federal executions. It says right here, Mr. Trump They make Mr. Trump the country's most prolific execution president in more than a century, overseeing the executions of 13 death row inmates since July of this year. This was written in 2021. The five. So it
What are the charges?
Huh?
What are the charges?
Oh, I don't know. 5 execute. I don't.
Like,
okay.
why would these executions happen? They didn't happen because they're black.
Nobody said that.
That was what you were insinuating, Big Bone. You said that specifically.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm saying what you call it. Black Dragon didn't say that. I said that
you
earlier, and it's a fact. Well, here,
it's a fact.
Yes, it is a fact. But what you're going to say?
So if they're murderers, they're still targeted.
Let me find that for you, and you're going to say something else.
If they've murdered somebody, then I'm sorry. You know what I mean? If they've committed an act of violence, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. No, well, you don't have to tell me anything. You told me a lot already.
That's fine.
Okay. So let's move on past the execution part.
Several other articles that mention the same thing.
That would be great to understand what they actually got charged for.
Let's move past the execution part. I mean, obviously they done some shit that they gonna get executed for in the first place, so they wouldn't be there.
Exactly. So that was the point.
I don't.
Yeah. Well, the other point was fuck it. It don't matter.
So let's move on. So basically, what I want.
Are we missing somebody?
Hey, Rage quit.
Yeah, they got. I think his connection got.
Well, he's welcome back on.
Yeah, he'll pop back on in a minute. So basically, what we was doing.
Well,
Okay.
let me stop you for a minute. Let me tell you something. You can't get mad at somebody when they're making a point, and you can't accuse them of things and cut off their point. The point he was making was that, in his opinion, because and it says it right here in the article, I was reading it. It said that Donald Trump rushed executions, and he was the only president to do that in a very, very long time. And this was the point he was making. And it didn't matter to that point what they were being accused of. And all, you just took the guy out to left field. I think you very much disrespected him. And I think
don't come at me sideways.
Huh?
Don't come at me sideways.
Bone didn't come at you sideways. He didn't.
Okay.
And there's no reason for, this is what I was saying earlier, that I was truly hoping that the election, now that it's over, people could get back to being normal.
Kumbaya.
Kumbaya, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I just don't understand the negativity. Everybody's in their feelings. Everybody's kind of.
He made a claim, Black Dragon. I said, prove it. Then he rambled on for 15 minutes. It took him 15 minutes and muting of each other to get that source, what I asked for 15 minutes ago.
Well, I found it in 3 minutes.
I wasn't asking you. That was the point.
Because he said he was technically challenged. He was technologically challenged.
So are you. So are you.
I am?
Yeah, you are.
What are you disrespecting me for?
I'm telling you objectively that's not an excuse. You're on a panel. I ask you to go ahead and show your source. Then you want to fight with me for 15 fucking minutes. And it's like, no, just show the damn source. But he wants to keep doing these roundabouts to try to straw man my position. I asked the simplest question. Why were they being executed? I want to know their charges. I know that it probably happened.
That particular part right there, though, really don't make a difference what they were charged.
That was not his point.
That wasn't what he was talking about.
And that's what you call that's what you call gaslighting.
Okay, he did it to me equally. I give equal energy, dude.
He was trying to prove a point.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Why don't you talk to him too? You know what I mean?
Well, he's off. I can see why he hung up. That's what I was telling you.
Well,
and if you want to be
you got to, when you come in this realm, you got to be able to actually, like, you can't just throw false claims.
Well, he didn't throw a false claim. The claim that he threw
he said it was based off of a race.
The claim he said was supported by several articles, none of which you would accept. AP you didn't accept, BBC you didn't accept. So I said, well, let me go look and see if it's other places. It's on The Guardian. Independent.com, the Marshall Project, Los
So
Angeles
13 people.
Times.
How many people? 13?
Well, it wasn't my point. So I haven't read the article. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Exactly. Me neither.
But
That's why I was asking.
Tell you either.
That's why I was asking. He rambled on for 15 fucking minutes.
No, he didn't ramble on for 15 minutes.
That's what he does.
15 minutes.
And we rambling on now. I've already said twice. Let's move on.
Yep.
We
Let's
still
go.
rambling. So.
No,
Right.
we're debating.
Aren't
we debating?
I don't know. I done got tired, and this shit done got crazy, real fucking.
It's a
quick.
stalemate.
This is the problem. It's not a stalemate. The problem
yes, it is.
we can't get.
Let me say this. Let me say this right quick. Let me
Prove
say this
your
right
side,
quick.
BD. Then
I didn't come on here with a side.
Let me say this right quick. Number one, as I've always said on here, I'm not a Republican nor a Democrat. We talk about the topics as to how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mike, I do know that you're a diehard Trump fan. I do know that.
Actually, I'm not a diehard Trump fan.
But hear me out though.
Feels like it.
Same way, the same way we sit here and talk about Kamala, the same way we're gonna sit here and talk about Trump. These are not our people. We do not go to the cookout with these people, nor do they give a fuck about us. This is just a conversation. Now, this went crazy.
Well,
now,
that's what happens when you bring up race.
Let me finish, because now you disrespected me. And last I checked, this is my show.
Okay. I mean, I co-hosted with this.
Let me finish.
You,
Let me finish. Because at the end of the day, I say the fucking final word here.
Sure.
This shit was uncalled for. If we going through, we're having a discussion, we talk about the discussion, we move on. We sitting here battling back and forth over bullshit that didn't even need to be talked about. You know what I mean?
Right,
He proved his point. He said the point is done. Okay? So this is what we're going to do, because I done got tired of this shit. We're going to end this damn show. I appreciate everybody that's been on here. Thank you, and good night. End this shit.
See ya. Peace. Much love, honor, respect, everybody.